Derpy got ran over by a reindeer. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, welcome back to the show. This is episode 470, 470 the two dumb yinzers. Welcome back, everybody. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, sir. Did someone say
Good
something about
morning.
getting fired up?
I'm fired up because I want to know what Derpy got for Christmas this year.
Me too.
All I could
Me
say,
too.
all I pictured over the days off was Derpy getting up on Christmas morning and at the top of the steps with his pink bunny outfit that Aunt Clara made him. And this is all I'm seeing. We got so much to cover today, guys. If we didn't, I would get deeper into Derpy's Christmas morning and things like this. So maybe we'll talk about that later on in the week. But guys, a lot of things to go over. This is episode 470 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. This is Steelers Central. Yeah, Steelers Central, Mike. I like that.
Steelers Central, baby. You like that? I like
I
that.
like that.
Yes.
We're gonna
Two dumb injured Steelers Central,
keep your
baby.
eyes peeled, everybody. This year we got a lot of big things coming up. Guys, good morning. Geez, oh man, I don't even know where to start. So much stuff to talk about today. How about we start talking about the Steelers?
Yeah, let's
Let's do
start
it.
talking about something Steelers, baby.
I do want to say this real quick though. Mike Derpy said that he has so many cookies up there left over. He's actually thinking about giving them to us, sending them to the studio. And I
Oh.
told him to go through them and taste them. And the ones that aren't that great, we're going to send to the remote studio. And then all the ones that are delicious, he's going to send here.
Huh.
That's the plan, at least. We'll
Fair
see how.
enough. Fair enough.
Guys, the Steelers, they play Saturday at 4:30. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals 34-11. The Steelers' record improves to 8-7 because of this. And if this wasn't the biggest case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I got to say, after last week and the week before and the week before
Mm-hmm.
against the Colts, the Patriots, and the Cardinals, that I felt that there was no way that we would even still be in a playoff race at this particular time. However, whatever it was that Coach Tomlin did in the meantime, it turned this team around into a complete 180, having this team very confident at the moment. With if they win out, they have a 90% chance of making the playoffs. They play Seattle next in Seattle, and then of course they go to Baltimore, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. The Steelers will need a little tiny bit of help, not too much help, but a little bit. And this is how it breaks down, guys. We have to win our last two games, and if we lose, I think we're pretty much done.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because it took a couple of weeks after we dropped to even get back to where we are, which is right now the ninth seed. There's 7 seeds to qualify for the playoffs. We're in the ninth seed at the moment. We have to win both games. We need a couple things and basically one thing to happen, because a couple of the situations have the Colts or Houston has to lose one game and they play each other in the last game of the season. So that's going to happen. So basically, we need one thing to happen. We need the Bills to either lose to the Patriots, who are, for whatever reason, surprising a bunch of teams right now and winning football games, or they have to lose to Miami, which kind of goes down a deep rabbit hole with
Mm-hmm.
because the Bills could literally win that division if they win out in Miami. They play Baltimore this week. So it's going to get crazy. Um, Jacksonville, we could hope that they lose one of the two games between Carolina or against Tennessee. And then we could hope that either Indianapolis or Houston, who again play each other in the last week, one of those teams lose. It would have to be the team that would win the
Yeah.
last week would have to lose this week. So I mean, there are things that could definitely happen. Definitely things that could go in our favor. There's things that could hurt us. But as of right now, if we win out, we have a 90% chance of making the playoffs. 90%. So I like those odds. It all starts this coming weekend with the Seattle Seahawks, who are also coming in with an 8-7 record. They win a pretty close, tight game the other day, 20-17. We'll get into that when we get into the scores. This team here, though, that we're going to be playing against, guys, the Seattle Seahawks team. They do the one thing very well that we have a hard time stopping, And it's whenever you have a lot of wide receivers that are good running all over the place, all over the field, they tend to find their way open against this defense a lot, which is going to be where I think the problem comes along. DK Metcalf, Kevin Lockett, and Durfee's Najigba. Now, these three guys, I mean, they're tough receivers. They're all tough. We're only going to be able to put Joey Porter on one of them, but we have to figure something out because these three guys are amazing. Nonetheless, even the best one, DK Metcalf with 998 yards at this time, has less yards than George Pickens at this point in the season. George Pickens is over 1,000 yards, guys.
No shit.
He did. I think he's at like 1,008 or 1,009.
Wow.
I didn't look at. I did not know that. I did not check any stats. I watched the Steeler game this weekend, and that was it. Just shut off from football until yesterday. So that's insane.
He's about 10 more yards than DK Metcalf. However, again, you look at the other two receivers, there's no question why DK Metcalf doesn't have more yards is because you have these other two guys that absorb a lot of catches and yards. And our number 2 and number 3 are Deontay Johnson with about 500 and some, and Jalen Warren.
Yeah.
So the passing game of Seattle is what scares me. But again, this team hasn't been setting the world on fire over in Seattle either. But we're in Seattle, on the West Coast, playing a team that's going to be passing the ball pretty heavily. I think it should be a great game, and if we can come out and win this game, guys, we're going to be in good shape, because if Baltimore wins next week against Miami, they then wrap up the AFC number 1 seed, which in theory would make you think that they would rest their players in the last week of the season. And, that would give us an opportunity to have a better chance to beat Baltimore than what we have, and maybe sneak into the playoffs. So we got to root for the Ravens one more time next week, hopefully to beat these Miami Dolphins. But then you got all kind of other situations going on, because the Dolphins are going to want to win because they have Baltimore and then they have Buffalo. So if they lose this week, they're going to need to win the last week. And so there's a lot of things going into this, guys, a lot of crazy football left. But somewhere down the line, I think something is going to help us out. I think, as I said, the win yesterday by Baltimore, the blowout win, I think that it was blowout fast over San Francisco, helped us out, because that may give us an opportunity again, as I said, in roughly 13 days from now to, have a better shot at beating Baltimore, just because they don't have starters in. So,
but will Baltimore want to rest their guys, or will they want to avenge that early season loss against the Steelers?
I don't think that. Well, here's the thing: a lot of times they hesitate to play, and I don't know if it's just because he's injury prone, but a lot of times Lamar Jackson doesn't make it to the Steeler game.
Yeah,
and I don't know if they want to play him. They're always trying to keep him off the field when they play the Steelers, of course, because he has a bad record against us. He's terrible against us.
The backups are better against the Steelers than Lamar
for some reason.
And P, good morning. I want to say, P, before you run off, don't go anywhere. I want to say Merry Christmas to you, P. I didn't recall seeing you prior to the holiday. I do want to say Merry Christmas. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
I was thinking about P over the holiday a little bit, and I just wanted to make sure I told him Merry Christmas. Guys, here's the debate. Pickett, Rudolph. We're going to find out. Half hour, give or take. It's going to go on the Tomlin press conference at 12 o'clock. We will know starting this week. We will know what injuries are going to be relevant going into this week. We know that Landon Roberts took an injury last week. Every week, Derpy, it's all because of you. Every week there's an injury. Somebody big on the team goes down. It's all your fault.
So yeah, Derpy, you take the over.
Yeah, you always take that damn over. Stop taking the over.
I mean, Ryan jinxes it every week.
Vegas listens to you. You're Hollywood Derpy. Steelers, they win this game. Mason Rudolph goes 17 for 27, 290 yards, 2 touchdowns. Najee Harris rushes the ball 19 times for 78 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Warren, 8 carries, 24 yards. Pickens leads the way at receiver, 4 catches, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pat Freiermuth, Mike, no catches. 7 different receivers hit Pat Freiermuth. I just don't think. I think that Mason don't throw the white guys. I don't.
I
think he's getting.
I think that's what it is. I
I think
that's
he's
what
getting
it
ready
is. He's auditioning for Team Black.
he's getting ready for Rashard Mendenhall's All Pro game. You don't throw it to the
Well,
white guy.
don't throw it away. He's trying to get on Team Black. Him and Max Crosby, they're trying to work out a package deal. The Bengals, man, I think they were worried about Patty Fry because what happened last game. We attacked the middle of the field last game, and he had what
He
over
killed
100
them.
yards almost. So
He had
they took
his
it away.
biggest game of the season last time we played him. He didn't have one catch this time.
Yeah, they took away the middle of the field, and Mason and Pickens were like, "Okay, we'll just chuck it deep."
I think they were overconfident.
On the defensive side of the ball, they came in winning 3 straight games. We came in losing 3 straight games. So I think that they were overconfident. Of course, we're playing our 3rd string quarterback. They come off some recent success. So I agree with that 100%. On the defensive side of the ball, Michael Walker had 8 tackles total, 5 tackles and 3 assisted tackles, all with the sack. Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, and Miles Jack, they all had a sack, and all with interceptions. Eric Rowe, Alex Highsmith, and Pat Pete all having interceptions in this football game. I thought it was time for Pat Pete and Highsmith to step it up. They made the necessary moves. They put Peterson at safety, which they should have done a while back. They did. He made the play. And you know what? And as I said to Mike the other day, Mike, when was the last time you could recall us out coaching anybody? Did you see the way we shifted our secondary?
Oh,
you see
my
the
God.
way that they were expecting man, and we came with the zone. And when they adjusted to go to the zone, they went to the we outcoached the shit out of the Bengals.
Yes, we did.
And that was, man, so many things happened in this past week that we haven't seen in so long. And it just felt so freaking good.
Yeah, it was nice to see. Like, my God, like we've been playing man for the vast majority of our defensive snaps. We play zone every once in a while, but it was a complete zone. Like, I think first part of that drive, I think it was we played man because we saw Joey Porter playing man. But then after that, they switched it up. They fooled them, man. They did the rope a dope. We're gonna make it look like we're playing man consistently early on. And they switched to zone. And Cincinnati had no answer for it. Yeah, they had that long touchdown pass to T. Higgins. That's gonna happen. I don't care. T. Higgins is a great player. He's going to find a way to score. That happens to every defense where you get beat like that. But other than that, my God, we shut down that passing attack. It felt like we had them confused, man. And then it was just a total defensive effort too, from start to finish.
Also, I do want to say Merry Christmas to you, Ralph.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Hope everybody had a great holiday. I hope everybody had a great holiday. Guys, also, let's see what else. The Steelers, they managed to rack up 397 yards of offense. They only gave up 1 sack. Granted, this Cincinnati team is 31 out of 32. Seattle's defense isn't much better. They're right down there with them in the last 3-4 spots. So that's got to be good, going in our favor. However, again, the stopping the passing game, and it ain't like Geno Smith and these 3 receivers are amazing. They're not blowing the lid off the league in passing, but they are good enough to hurt the Steelers because they do have that many weapons at the wide receiver spot. And that's just the 3 receivers that we mentioned. I don't even know who their tight end is. I don't know what their running backs do out of the backfield. So I think that's going to be the challenge for the Steelers this weekend, especially with another key player out again, as we mentioned earlier. We will see within 27 minutes if it's going to hold over until next week. But we lost to Landon Roberts, who is just this guy that we brought in.
Oh,
I don't know what
tackling machine
at the end of this season, but he is a must in my opinion. You got to keep him around, and like I said, you gotta appreciate the game that Miles Jack brought to the table after having that hiatus that he had. He got cut from the Steelers. He decided to then pursue an HVAC, maybe electric career, whatever it is, some kind of trade. But you know what? He's back and he looked good again. He had a sack. Guys,
he was making plays.
This was the anti-Steelers. This was the team. It was a total turnaround from what we've seen from the past 3 weeks, which confuses me even more because now I don't know what to think. I don't know what to expect moving forward going into this game against Seattle. Derpy, I have no idea. I hope that they could come out and play the same kind of game they played on Saturday, but I just don't know. I don't know what Steelers.
I think they can.
I think we can, but the question is, are we? Are we going to?
Yeah.
Last week Tomlin tells Pickens, he says, "Hey, if you're not performing, shut up." You know what? It worked because Pickens come out and caught 4 passes for 195 yards and 2 touchdowns. Whatever Coach Tomlin said, it worked. TJ Watt said to Rich Eisen, you know what? It's scary. Nobody in this team respects Coach. Well, guess what? Whatever happened last week, it worked.
Yeah. And Tomlin put the fear or something in them. And you know what? Sometimes when you put the foot down in front of everybody, that sends a message. Instead of doing it behind closed doors for like one-on-one, do it in front of everyone, just rip everyone. That will reset the attitude. Yeah. You don't like to do it, but sometimes you have to do it.
If it don't work,
I've been in that situation before where you have to do it. It sucks, but it gets the message across. Next thing you know, everyone's back in line.
And if it's not working the other way, you got to try something different. You can't continue to go with what's not working. And obviously what was going on 3 weeks prior to this game was not working.
Yeah. And hey, kudos to him, man. Everyone will sit here and, rag on him for all the bad performances, but, they're not willing to give him the credit for the good performances. And you have to, man, recognize something wasn't working and makes the appropriate changes, and hopefully that's just going to be enough to win these last 2 games and make it through the playoffs.
Another interesting number, guys. The 49ers lost to 3 of the 4 AFC North teams. The 49ers is bad. And don't get me wrong, they are a very, very fantastic football team, yet they couldn't beat the Browns, yet they couldn't beat the Bengals, yet they couldn't beat the Ravens. The Steelers are the only team that they beat out of our division. And those 3 teams that San Fran lost to from our division are 3 of the 4 teams that San Fran lost to all year. They lost 4 games, 3 of them being the AFC North teams, the other team being the Vikings. And here we are. We're 4-1 against the same division.
How?
We're 4-1 against the same teams that the 49ers
the definition
are
of
3 against.
Season.
This is why if the Steelers sneak into the playoffs, guys, they're going to be a low seed. Let's say we somehow knock off that team that we get. Then guess who we get in the second round? We get the Ravens.
Oh, fine.
Even better, baby. Even
That's
better.
what I'm saying. If there's any team that the Steelers are prepared to play, it's the Baltimore Ravens. For whatever reason, they just know them better than anybody else. They play them better than anybody else. And as I said, you sneak in, and as weird as the NFL has been this year, and it's been weird, don't get me wrong, it's been weird on every level.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Like
we say Cinderella team.
We could be that Cinderella team,
We have a red-nosed reindeer.
Yeah, we have a red-nosed reindeer. We got the Miracle on 34th Street happening with this team right now. Stranger things have happened. But it's all going to come
down. This
down.
Pittsburgh Steelers team wins the Super Bowl. Come on. Wow. That flips the world upside down. That just, at that point, people will realize that they have no idea what's going on in football. I mean,
you'll be paying off. The script writers will win every writing Emmy and Oscar if the Steelers pull this one off.
All I know is this year, no, you're right, Mike. Would be absolutely insane.
It would be insane. And to think like everything, all the adversity this team has gone through, all the injuries to key players throughout time, Fryermuth was out for 4 weeks. Deontay was out for 4 weeks. We've lost Clam. We lost Minka. Our entire linebacking core. We have literally guys off the street. We're pulling them out of trade school and flight school to see if they can still play.
And we're finding ways to win.
We're finding ways to win.
You know what it was?
The Pittsburgh Steelers for you.
It was because Pickens had 2 mouthpieces.
He did.
Yeah.
You noticed like he put the green one in and had an incomplete pass. He went to put it back in. He looked at it. He gave that mouthpiece. He gave the mouthpiece a look before he put it back in. Like you get 1 drop.
Yeah. What's the colors for New Year's? Like silver and black or something?
Yeah.
He needs a
silver and gold or something like that.
You
come out with both of those. That'll be kind of. We just need him to play like this every game.
And here's
because you can say that's what's like frustrating.
It doesn't have to be a whole season. We just need him to play like that for 6 weeks.
Yeah. It's like, come on, dude. Like you can see it too. And I like the fact that that second touchdown, the first person come down and celebrate with him, ran like 90 yards. It felt like was Jalen Warren.
Yeah.
That shows like what can be said, like what media will say, what fans will say. What really matters is how they feel about each other inside that locker room.
Exactly.
They're real. They know each other's personality.
Jalen Warren's block.
Oh my God.
On Calvin Austin III's touchdown.
He trucked him.
He killed that guy.
I haven't seen that stupid play in forever since Canada's been gone, but you know how nice that was to see happen
Yeah,
in
just out of nowhere.
in the way that it was executed and the way it was
Yeah.
blocked for. And geez, man, that was one of my favorite plays of the game. Had he been a defensive player, he would have probably been suspended for the season. But you know what?
Well, you know what? It wouldn't be surprised me if Jalen Warren gets fined again. He's been fined numerous times for blocks. Dude's like 4 foot nothing, like all you're lowering your helmet. Like he can't help it. He got those stubby little arms. That's no neck. What's he supposed to do?
He saw it off. I mean, how can you not be that low on a hit? I mean,
yeah.
What else do we got? Watt, he had a sack, which keeps him in the lead in the league. He has 17 sacks on the season. The next 5 guys on the list, the guys that we mentioned last week, no sacks, 0 between all of them, 0.0. No sacks, guys. That puts TJ up a little bit more in the race. Myles Garrett, he had 0 sacks.
Which is nothing.
Which is 0 more than the 0 that he had the week before.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
He's falling off. He's fallen off a little bit as the season goes on.
Myles Garrett with his 0 sacks for second consecutive week. TJ Watt is still at the top of that list. As I said, the next 5 guys did not record a sack. It's on the sack list. Joey Porter Jr., something that I thought was interesting at first, and then nobody brought it up.
Yeah.
And then somebody I seen that brought this up and I thought was interesting. We're in the beginning of the game. Hi, I'm so-and-so. I went to Oklahoma State. Hi, I'm so-and-so. It gets to Joey Porter Jr. I'm Joey Porter Jr., King of the North. King of the North, Mike. What is that?
He's not Game of Thrones reference, baby.
Is that what that is?
That's Game of Thrones, baby. He's Jon Snow. He shut down every receiver he's gone up against in the AFC North. You got Amari Cooper saying after that Cleveland game, I'm unguardable, and all the Steeler fans were like just quietly posting his stat line against the Steelers. Like, are you sure about that?
You're right.
Are you sure about that?
So what was what was it, Mike? What was it? And a lot of people will say that it was the quarterback. The quarterback came in and it changed the mood. And what was it, Mike? What was the catalyst? What drove this team to play this particular kind of game that they played last week? And is it possible that they continue that in the next week?
I think part of it was quarterback play. It's not all quarterback play, but it was a full 60-minute effort, which we haven't seen all year.
That was the
key part. It was in desperation too. And and the players finally realizing, last week, Pat Pete was saying, hey, this is a playoff game. We have to treat it like it. And they got blown out. And to realize hey, we actually do need to start focusing. And I think all the outside noise, they just tuned all that out and just, they really didn't say a whole lot. It was Mike Tomlin talking to the media. He called a special press conference to just talk about George Pickens. Really didn't hear a lot of the other players say stuff. You had, Jalen Warren said, hey, I would block for him. It's like, but really that was it. There was no one giving on that team, calling anyone out by name. I had a couple little comments here from Watt, but for the most part, I think they just internalized everything and just kept it all to them, as a team, just dealt with it as a team and realized, hey, if we want to make the playoffs, we have to get in line. And what better way to start than against a division foe that well and that you just beat 4 weeks ago. And it was, and then coaching too. It's a great game plan on offense and defense. They took their shots. They took smart shots. Hey, we're in field goal range. Let's take a deep shot. If we miss it, oh, well, we're going to kick a field goal. Or you know what? We're in that mid-range field goal punt. We're going to take a deep shot. If they get us picked off, whatever, it's like a good punt. They made smart coaching decisions. All the players executed well too. That was the key thing. Execution. From the run game, run defense, everyone executed the way they were supposed to.
It was the most complete game I've seen in years.
Mm-hmm.
Even when Ben was there wasn't. This was a complete game. I mean, come on, say what you will. And some speculation, a couple of things about the quarterback situation I do want to talk about. Some people saying that Kenny sitting up in the booth a couple weeks back may have given him a little bit of a different perspective. A couple people saying that that Rudolph should be starting. Some people saying that the starter's healthy. He should be starting. Former Steeler, future Hall of Famer Big Ben says start Mason. I'm not going to get into the debate because I know in 16 minutes we're going to know the answer.
Yeah, right.
So
It's
there's
gonna
no
be
sense of Mike getting me all wound up and sweaty this morning. So I'm just gonna.
like I'm the one who.
I'd
Okay,
say
yeah.
go into it with Mason, see how he does, and then if he's
It's a
being
very.
Mason, switch to Kenny.
I wouldn't want to be in this position. I got to tell you, I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I mean, it's a tough call. This is a tough call.
Yeah.
It is.
You hate to, the old saying, oh, you can't lose your starting job because of injury. But you can if you're playing and just at a base level, but your replacement comes in and does better than you might lose your starting job. I as long as we win, I don't care who's starting, but the way that offense moved, yes, we moved it that way against Cincinnati, but we didn't have any passing touchdowns against them. Then this week we moved the ball and we had passing touchdowns.
I just
Go
wonder,
go with
Mike.
the hot hand. Go with the hot hand.
The
We
thing
saw
about the hot hand is this, though.
they can cool
Yeah.
off.
You got to say to yourself, the element of surprise won't be there this time around.
No.
They're not
Right.
going to get Mason out of the gate where before they probably, as you said earlier in the show, they probably underestimated him. They probably prepared one way. We did something different. Now you take that element of surprise out. That kind of makes it a different playing field. Again, I don't know if I even prefer anybody at this point. I'm going to wait. I'm going to see what coach says, and I'll probably bitch about it the rest of the week. But so that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if I have a preference. The only preference I know that I have is I hope it's not Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. He was very disappointing. I think Mitch still has value in the league as that sounding board guy to have in your roster, but right now I don't think he's a number 2 quarterback. I think he's a solid. He's going to be your reserve quarterback. That's going to have the clipboard and talk to the starting quarterback. I think that's his role now in the NFL. Whatever ability he had, he seems to have lost it. He doesn't. He just keeps chucking it deep. So
I got to say what I did.
Know.
Something that I picked out that I liked about Mitch. I'm sorry, about Rudolph the Red-Nosed quarterback was he read the defense very well. He was able to get out there. He read the secondary. He was able to see where blitzes were coming. As I said, he was only sacked one time.
Yeah.
He took off a couple of times. Was able to pick up a big first down. I could recall one down inside the 5. So I mean, there was definitely things that Mason did well. That's keeping this, as I said, interesting. I'm not saying that it's interesting because the team won a game where Mason started. There was a lot of things that Mason did during the course of this game that I say to myself, that was impressive. That was impressive.
What?
That was impressive. However, you say to yourself, how much of it was element of surprise? So I don't envy the coaching staff this week, try to figure out who it is that's going to start, because whoever starts and loses, let's just say they lose,
blame.
You are going to be, oh, you're dumb, you're stupid. Why would you start a third stringer? Oh, you're dumb. Why would you start him? He wasn't the hot hand. So whoever it is you better hope you win.
Yeah,
right.
Because
that's what it comes down to.
You're going to be.
That's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
But with Mason though too, you go back to 2 years ago in that Lions game. This is what he looked like. He looked confident, made the good decisions. We didn't win the game. We tied. There were a lot of factors into it. We had 2 key fumbles in overtime. But he's progressed from that second year quarterback that looked completely lost when he was playing in there. This guy has made himself into a pro. And right now, I'm leaning towards him. Just the way he had his command of the offense looked so much better than what we've seen from the other 2 quarterbacks. His decision making looked a lot better too. I'm more willing to ride the hot hand, and if we fail, you know what? So be it. You went with the guy who won you the game, who played well, and if he would have went out and laid an egg, I would be like, yeah, you figure out in practice who's going to be your quarterback. But he went out there and played well for not playing a game in 2 years. I'm more inclined to give him a second chance. And looking at Seattle's defensive numbers, again, man, their pass defense is in that bottom half of the league. Why not take advantage of the hot hand at quarterback? Their run defense is near the bottom in every category too. Why not take advantage? We saw how well this run game worked, with that pass game. That our running backs were getting open lanes because the defense was forced to stay back that half yard. The linebackers weren't crowding the line. The safeties weren't down in the box because they actually had to worry about the deep pass connecting. So I'm more inclined to keep Mason in there just because he's when he takes those shots, that deep ball is a nice deep ball. It's not like a Mitch Trubisky deep ball, like fuck it, someone's down there. I don't care who catches it.
Yeah.
So I'm more inclined to go that way. Just the way, like, Kenny was playing like before he got hurt. I I'm more inclined to go with Mason. But if we get Kenny the way he was playing early in the season, where we were, because he doesn't turn the ball over. That's the key right there. He doesn't turn the ball over.
If you could
But
somehow
Mason
take
hasn't
all
turned the
three of
ball
these
over
quarterbacks
either, so it's like,
and cut their heads off and cut their arms off and sew them back together like a GI Joe.
mm-hmm.
And
we'd have a
good quarterback.
We'd have a good quarterback.
You just got to take a little of this guy, a little of that guy.
But right now, I'm just a slight lean towards Mason. But small sample size. But
see how he does in the
I'm
first
leaning
quarter.
Yeah, I got to give him the half. You don't want to be a quick trigger. You don't want to be a quick trigger because at halftime you can make your halftime adjustments. But unless it gets really out of hand, then you got to make the move early.
That's what I'm saying. See
Don't
how he
hesitate to pull the trigger. That seems to be the case a lot of times with this team, with Mike Tomlin. They don't want to be wrong. And when you don't want to be wrong, you tend to leave things in a little longer than they should be. If Mason goes out and throws 2 interceptions in the first 2 drives, get his ass out of there. Don't say, well, we wanted to see how he performed. No, he performed bad. He threw 2 interceptions in 2 drives. Get him out of there. Don't wait too long. So those kind of things I like to see from Coach Tomlin. And as I went on and on about a couple weeks ago, you don't see Tomlin really out coaching anybody. He outcoached these guys last week, which shows me that he still cares enough, and he's still they got to continue whatever it was they did last week. And again, whether it be with that quarterback or with the starting quarterback, you just got to do what the hell it was you did last week and win this game. Again, Seattle's 8-7. Mike just explained in a nutshell what it is that you're going to see with this team. I know with Metcalf, Lockett, and Najigba, you're gonna have a challenge keeping these guys covered. Somebody again is always running around open in the middle of the field when we play him. Geno Smith gets flushed out. He runs to the right. There's always that guy that tapers into the middle of the field. Yep. Why nobody's ever in that spot covering that area of the field? I'll never know
for
why.
43 freaking years.
Right. So things like this. But you know what? Again, we will hear from the man today in the next 8 to 10 minutes to see what he says about the starters, about injuries. I do want to very often to a couple of former Steelers that were very good Steelers. However, they just kind of fell a little short as far as a team. Just a couple comments that Antonio Brown made on Christmas Eve. I'm sorry. Antonio Brown, for whatever reason, I don't know what his beef was with Michael Irvin, but he says this to Michael Irvin. Antonio Brown on Twitter says, Michael Irvin, stay off the cocaine. I got way more stats than you, faggot. From Broward, not Miami. We slapped the shit out your ass. Merry Christmas, player hater. So for whatever reason, Antonio Brown decided to call Michael Irvin a faggot cokehead. I don't get. Maybe he did coke back in the day. I know that was a rumor.
Oh yeah, he did a lot of coke back in the day.
But the thing was, where's your rings at, Antonio? I know that Michael has 3 of them.
He got one.
Oh, he did.
He got one down in Tampa with Tom Brady.
He worked his way onto a team with the GOAT, and he got one. You're right. And the other comment that Antonio Brown said was this. Antonio says regarding the immaculate extension, as you can remember on Christmas Day 2016, where the Steelers played the Ravens and Antonio Brown caught the ball on the goal line, reached his arm across, which was coined the immaculate extension. He says, I've been saving y'all crackers for years. So I don't know what his issue was. I don't know where all the Christmas spirit came from. I don't know exactly who he was referring to there. But that was your Antonio Brown news. Of course, no surprises. The other one is the one that kind of caught me a little off guard, guys. Le'Veon Bell, I'm sorry. He shows up a couple days before Christmas and with a surprise visit to Pittsburgh, to the facility to visit the guys. Le'Veon Bell, yes. Piece 2 of that, should have been a championship team, in my opinion. Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell says, quote, I was tripping. Why didn't y'all tell me not to leave? End quote. You know what? I would have been all aboard that, but you were doing your own thing, and he wasn't listening to anybody at that particular point. Le'Veon was doing what Le'Veon was doing, and I would have loved to have him stay. But there's your would have been, should have been Super Bowl champions, Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown.
You see, you can tell Lev Bell had all the hits to his knee because he still has sense about him. He hasn't gone off the deep end.
Right.
Where it lets AB and Mendenhall have. I think AB was jealous that Mendy was getting a lot of attention, and he was just jumping on that train because it's all about AB.
Right.
And Love Bell needs to come back again this week. Talk to the team again. That was part of it, man.
P says that, yeah, he does need to come back. P says Antonio Brown has an issue with the space-time continuum.
You got to get Doc Brown in there to talk to him.
Yeah. But yeah, if that's what it's going to take, if it's going to take Le'Veon Bell coming to town and talking to the team, if it's going to take AB being a bigot, whatever it takes,
man,
do it again this week because we have to win this game. And you know what? I don't care too much about Michael Irvin, so you call him whatever you want.
Yeah, we need Mendy to double down on the bigotry because we need Mason to
to
continue his audition to be Team Black's backup quarterback.
The hate is helping for some reason. Guys, number one seeds right now. The number one seed chasing the AFC can only be won by the Ravens, the Dolphins, or the Browns. Guys, the Browns do have an outside chance of winning the number one seed.
I hope they get it and just watch them fail.
You know what? I think that the Ravens, like I said, if the Ravens win this week, that helps us. That's what I'm pulling for. If the Ravens could beat Miami, maybe they come out because they don't. Mike, there's still 6 weeks of football. I don't know if Lamar Jackson can stay healthy for 6 consecutive weeks, especially playing all good teams in a row from here on out, because they have the Dolphins, they have their rival Steelers, and then you have all playoff teams after that. So it's going to be interesting to see if Lamar Jackson could stay healthy the rest of the way. You know, I know that you're a favorite. You believe that they're a favorite to win a Super Bowl.
I do. This is the way they've been playing offense, defense, and like you said, that big if, can Lamar stay healthy?
Right. That's the big if.
That's the big if. He has been banged up the past 3 years, but my God, if he can stay healthy, oh God, I hate to say it, Baltimore. Oh, a third. What would be their third Super Bowl?
The third, yeah.
Oh.
Would you rather Joe Flacco win it with the Browns or the Ravens win their third Super Bowl?
I'd like to see the Ravens win their third Super Bowl because
Ravens.
I have more respect for them than I do for the Browns.
I got to say, I like what the Browns are doing up there. The defense is something amazing. Kevin Stefanski's done something with this team that nobody's been able to do in decades. I would not hate to see the Browns lose to the Lions in the Super Bowl. That would be my ideal Super Bowl.
Okay, that would be great.
If the Lions would beat the Browns, I would be thrilled with the Super Bowl.
That would be good. But no, I wouldn't mind Baltimore winning because, they're a carbon copy of the Pittsburgh Steelers. When they moved down there, Ozzie Newsome, when he built that team, he more or less just copied what the Steelers were doing, and they play the same way the Steelers do.
Trying. The Browns
they're slowly creeping up there in the Super Bowl.
It's only taking them decades, but they're getting
there. It's the best rivalry in football, and
guys, we still have a lot to go in the last 20 minutes of the show. A couple of things real quick. Also from around the league, the Jacksonville Jaguars are 2-5. Yes, I said 2-5 since they messed with the terrible towel. Jacksonville was looking like a very strong team when they played the Steelers. Almost, it seems like a whole season ago. But in those last 7 games since then, they've only went 2-5 since messing with the terrible towel. Every team doesn't think it's going to apply to them, but it does.
It does. You may win the game, but the rest of your season's going to suck.
Yep.
That's what I find funny, though. They'll kick our ass that game. They mess with the towel, and then their season tapers off.
Feeling old yet. Owen McCown, Cole Pennington, and Devin Hester Jr. are all in college right now. Probably be going pro in the not so distant future. Where did the years go? I
saw this. I saw the Pennington kid and the other one posted at the same time. I'm like, no. I remember Chad Pennington being drafted in the first round to the Jets,
and Marvin Harrison Jr. And the list really goes on. If you look, I mean, a whole generation of football players, their kids are coming up, and we're about to love that as well. So I'm cool with it.
No. I am still 22 years old.
Yeah.
Their dads are still in their prime.
Yeah. Guys, we got to grade this game. I know you waited all weekend for this derby, and I know you got other things. I
got them prepared.
I swear I'm getting to you here. Guys, let's knock these grades out. Mike, derby, let's kind of do it quick because we only got about 20 minutes of show left. We still have a load of things to do here. Mike, what do you give the quarterback play for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this past Saturday's football game and the win 34-11 over the Bengals? Mike, what do you give our quarterback play? Graded as you would a school teacher.
I would give him an A, a solid A.
How can you not, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't an A+ effort. There's some plays out there he left on the field, but an A, solid A.
Derpy, over to you. What would you grade our quarterback?
A minus.
All right. Running backs, guys, running backs. I know that Najee Harris ran the ball 19 times for 78 yards and a touch. Warren, 8 rushes, 24 yards. Mike, what do you give these running backs?
I'm gonna give them an A as well.
Okay. Derpy, running backs.
A.
Over to tight ends. If you can, let's give these guys a grade. I know that there was one play where Mount Washington had a catch, and I thought he should definitely be seeing the ball more. But guys, tight ends, it's hard to grade this week's, but Mike, we got to grade them.
I'm gonna go with an A as well. Weren't really involved in the passing game; they got taken away. But in the pass blocking, run blocking game, they did really well.
Derpy, the tight ends, Derpy. What do you give these guys for their grade for last week's football game?
I'm gonna go B minus.
All right, good. Wide receiver, Mike. How do you grade the wide receiving core for this past week's game? You do remember that Pickens had 4 catches for 195 yards and 2 touches. And what do you give them?
I'm giving them an A. I'm giving them an A. A lot of that, is obviously based on Pickens, but Allen Robinson had a quiet good game as well. Calvin Austin had that nice touchdown run. Miles Boykin I think, even had a catch. So yeah,
a nice catch. Derpy, wide receivers. What do you give these guys?
A minus.
All right. Offensive line, gentlemen. Mike, what do you give the offensive line? They let up 1 sack.
1 sack, not a whole lot of pressures as well. Good run game. I'm giving them an A as well.
Man, this must have been a good game, huh?
Oh.
When was the last time we give grades like this?
A's across the board, man.
This was not like my report card. Derpy, what do you give this offensive line for their play last week?
I'm going to give them a B because they played the Bengals.
All right, fair enough.
Oh, wow. Now
well, I like he's thinking. That's he put thought into that. Let's go over to the defensive side of the ball, Mike. Defensive line. What do you give these guys?
I'm going to give them a B plus.
Defensive, a B plus.
A B. Screw it. Give him an A.
I gotta say,
59 yards rushing. Quarterback was under pressure a lot of the game.
And Joe Mixon hasn't hit 100 yards total between the 2 games he played the Steelers. That's 8 quarters against the Steelers where he hasn't passed the 100 yard mark. Derpy, defensive line.
B minus.
I haven't seen Clam out there moving. It was a sight to see this week, guys.
B plus.
All right, linebackers. TJ, sack. Highsmith, sack. Interception. Miles Jack, sack. I mean, with the exception of Landon Roberts going down with the injury, guys, you can't really say much more about this linebacker core. But, Mike, let me get your grade. What do you think that these linebackers would be graded for this week?
I'm going to give them an A. My God, people stepping up that you didn't think would step up. Like Miles Jack, he did not look like this last year. He was flying all over the place. He said he's finally healthy. It's showing. Highsmith, welcome to the party, pal. It's nice to see you. You've been gone for a while. Way to show up. But yeah, linebackers all around A.
Secondary. You had Pat Pete with the move over to safety, which I thought they should have done weeks ago. He gets an interception. You got a guy, Eric Rowe, out of nowhere. He gets an interception. You got Joey Porter Jr. locking it down, the King of the North. Also, who was the other? Okay, but the secondary looked good. Mike, what do you give these guys?
I'm gonna go with a B plus with them. They did get beat for that long touchdown run. But Peasy had a penalty, so yeah, B plus.
Derpy, secondary. Hollywood Derpy's back.
Hollywood Derpy, done.
We didn't even make it to New Year's.
A minus.
The only way that I would not have gone on you if you would have said, I am watching the Mike Tomlin conference right now just to tell you what the updates are. Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with that. Mike, we're going to go to special teams. Boswell did not miss any kicks. Harvin didn't mess up any punts. Special teams.
Special teams, I'm going to go with an A as well. I had no complaints with that special teams.
Derpy, special teams.
Boswell's toe, A. Harvin, A.
No complaints. The only concern with me is now, are we due for one of Harvin's bad punts? We will see this week. Coaching, Mike, the coaching in this football game. What do you give the coaching staff.
I give them an A plus. My Lord, the way the defense played, the way the offense played, special teams, everything, the way all the players responded, A plus.
Derpy, same question to you, coaching staff.
A.
And finally, overall, Mike, overall, is there any way that you're not going to give this game an A?
No, an A. This was by far one of the best performances we have seen in a long time from this team.
Your big red F pen is healthy today. It is not getting a workout. It's taking the week off.
It needs some rest.
Derpy, overall performance on this team. Any way you don't give them an A?
Give me an A.
All right, there you go. That is how the Steelers graded out this week. And you know what? I don't disagree with these guys. A lot of these are spot on. Spot on. The Steelers, Mike, they are in the 17th spot right now for the draft. They're in the 9th overall seed in the AFC.
Oh, so close.
It is in their ball. It comes down to them. They have to decide whether they go to the playoffs or not. You're not playing the Dolphins. You're not playing the Chiefs, teams that for whatever we just don't match up well against those teams. You're playing teams that I think you match up well against. Seattle's a very similar team to the style. They got the defense. You got the so I think that we're given an ideal situation. They are good teams. They are playoff teams. And as I said, the playoffs start now, and this is the biggest game of the season, and nothing changes about that. It goes week to week, and it doesn't change this week at all. You got to win this game.
Nope.
Get ready for Baltimore. Hopefully we could get a little help from them, which is totally possible. But Seattle is in the crosshairs, guys, as we speak.
Yeah. Like, really, all the Steelers need to do is win out. And, like, that laundry list of things that need to happen, really only one needs to happen, because week 18, Houston and Indy play. Because we need those two teams to lose once.
Yep.
Unless they tie and, do a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and grind it out for a tie. We need one of the 5, 6, 7 scenarios to happen, and Steelers went out, and 7 seeds there for the taking. So really, it's like they control their own destiny. Just go out there and win, boys.
Guys, we want to go through all the scores for this week's football games. I think that they're all relevant at this point in the season.
Ralph Chooks in as tackle eligible, catches 2 passes this week. Personally, Harvin 2 fake punts for touchdowns. I'm all for it.
I like that.
AB
guys,
got knocked into next week 6 years ago and never came back.
This was from like a half hour ago. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I just now caught him. I've been doing research.
Mike just starts laughing uncontrollably.
I'm sorry. I was doing research on Twitter for the Mike Tomlin press conference.
So let's go. We got to blow through these scores, guys, because we do have more to go. We have a ways to go. The scores from this week's game, of course, the game on Thursday night was the Rams over the Saints, 30-22. The Bills over the Chargers. I thought the Chargers were going to win this football game. The Buffalo Bills starting to look like a legitimate contender again. However, you only beat the Chargers 24-22. That still leaves some questioning involved, but nonetheless, they are winning football games, and they still do have a chance to win that AFC East. The Jets and the Commanders. One team has the worst offense in the league. The other one has the worst defense in the league. The Jets managed to pull this one off with a 30-28 win. I believe Simeon was the quarterback up there for the Jets.
Yeah, week. Trevor Simeon.
Ooh.
Lions and Vikings. Vikings needed this game because if they would have won out, they would have won the NFC North. The Minnesota Vikings fall to the Lions 30-24.
Well done, Detroit.
A little help from our friends up by the mistake by the lake. The Browns beat the Texans, which we needed the Texans to lose. The Browns win 36-22. Packers with a 3-point win over the Carolina Panthers, 33-20 or 33-30.
Yeah,
giving them a better shot here to make their playoff spot.
Talk about, like, if they would have lost that one, total collapse the rest of the way.
Oh, absolutely. They're on the brink. They're kind of like we are. The Seattle Seahawks, they did win over the Titans, guys, 20-17 in a game that could have really went both ways. We beat Tennessee. This is where I kind of think that Seattle kind of falls in that category of everybody else right now who is 8-7, which is why I do think that we have a chance to win this game. Colts, another team that we needed to fall to the Falcons, Mike. The Falcons from that division over in the NFC that is
the NFC South, man, coming through clutch for us, baby.
29-10.
I did not see that happening. Ooh.
The next one I didn't see happening. Both you guys picked the Buccaneers in this game. Buccaneers won 30-12 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Another thing that's playing in our favor, the Jacksonville sticks, but again, you don't mess with the towel.
Don't
We
tell
got
him
an
Trevor
update.
Lawrence is hurt again.
Yeah. Miami Dolphins 22, Cowboys 20. This game was on a lot of places where people were sitting and enjoying Christmas with their family. I know it was where I was at. Dolphins win this game 22-20. I don't know if the Cowboys have beat a team with a winning record yet.
Neither. No, they have not. No, they have not.
The Bears and the Cardinals, of course, the Bears win 27-16. Patriots and Broncos. Broncos needed to win. Here comes that pesky spoiler, the New England Patriots.
We
They-
needed that. We
They
needed
win this
that.
football game after missing a field goal earlier in the game, after missing an extra point earlier in the game. That
Mhm.
field goal kicker for the Patriots knocks it through as time runs out to win and basically knock the Broncos out of the playoffs.
You'd love to see it. You love to see it. And also the Patriots have lost, like they've dropped from like the number 2 seed or number 2 pick down to
Yeah.
number 4.
And then the Chiefs and Raiders. The Raiders win this football game.
That game was, oh man, this is what happens when you don't have any wide receivers. Oh, that team is bad.
There's a lot of things going on over there in Kansas City that people aren't
Did-
happy about.
Did you see the cornerback on the pick six goes to hand the
Yes.
ball to a Chiefs fan, pulls it back?
Yeah.
That's rivalry football, baby.
I wouldn't have guessed that the Raiders would have won that football game. However,
Me
they
either.
did. And I tell you what, Kansas City looks frustrated.
Oh, they look bad.
Last night, only winning by 8 points over their division rival. The Eagles beat the Giants 33-25. That's
DeVito.
their first win in 4 weeks. They
Yeah.
lost 3
Mhm.
straight.
Yeah.
And then last night, I thought this game was a great game. All in all, it was a dominating, domination. The Ravens win this game 33-19. San Fran didn't score till late. Purdy 4 interceptions is the big story in this one. He gets yanked. Sam Howell comes in. He throws a touchdown, and then he throws an interception late in the game.
Mhm.
5 interceptions for this Ravens defense as they dominate the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson, 23 of 35, 252, 2 touchdowns. He got tripped by the official in the end zone for a safety.
Yeah, that
You
was
know, that was wild. I felt bad for that official. He tried to get out of the way, but those guys are too quick, too fast. That old guy's knees just crumbled.
your divisions look like this at the moment in the AFC East, guys. The Dolphins lead the way with an 11-4 record. The Bills in second place with a 9-6. They do still have a chance to win that division. They have to win out. Miami has to lose out. The Jets in third place with the 6-9. Patriots bringing up the rear with the 4-11. Over in the AFC West, the Chiefs barely ahead of the Steelers overall with a 9-6 record, while the Steelers are sitting with an 8-7. We'll get back to that. Second place is the 7-8 Raiders, who just beat the Chiefs. 2 games behind the Chiefs with 2 games left in the season. Broncos also 7-8. They lost, and then the Chargers are 5-10. In the AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Houston Texans all sitting there with 8-7 records, trying to figure out how in the hell we can get into the playoffs and keep the Steelers out. And in last place is the Titans, who almost beat the team that we're going to be playing next week against, which is Seattle. In the AFC North, gentlemen, arguably the best team, or the team that's playing the best at this point in the season, is the Baltimore Ravens, 12-3. Cleveland Browns 10-5. Steelers and Bengals both 8-7. We have won both games against them, so we do have that tiebreaker. Some would say this is the toughest division in football.
I'd agree.
Over in the NFC, the Eagles 11-4, Cowboys 10-5. You got to admit they got some things going, but the last 2 teams kind of bring it down. Giants 5-10, Commanders 4-11. Top heavy, but the bottom not so much. 49ers in the NFC West with an 11-4 record. Rams and Seahawks both with an 8-7. Cardinals 3-12. In the NFC South, somebody's finally over 500, and yes, it is the Buccaneers after the big win. They are 8-7.
Yes.
Falcons and Saints 7-8, and the Panthers sit there with 2-13.
That
And
might be
finally-
the toughest division in football.
Right. And finally, the NFC North, the Lions, they're able to keep things going. I like this team. I wouldn't mind seeing this team in the Super Bowl. Lions 11-4, or Vikings and Packers both with the 7-8 fighting for their playoff lives at this point. And the Bears in the basement with the 6-9 record. That is
not a bad team though. That Chicago Bears.
They're interesting. You know what I mean?
They are like, if they're like point differential games, like that 2 point game switches another way. They're like one of the better teams in football. It's just they're a weird team, man.
Yeah, the Bears are interesting, but you know what? They're gonna whatever they have will probably be gone over the next season, and they'll be starting over. And they just do the it's a cycle with the Bears, always a cycle with them, and it never ever seems to go in their favor. Clinched playoff spots. The Ravens are in, the Dolphins are in. The Chiefs are sitting in the 3 spot, the Jags in the 4 spot, Browns in the 5, Bills in the 6, Colts in the 7, Texans in an 8, and the Steelers in the 9 spot. And then over in the NFC, it looks like this. 49ers are in 49. Okay, you got 4 teams in the playoffs as we speak. They are the 49ers, the Lions, the Eagles, and the Cowboys in that order, I believe. And then the remaining 3 teams fighting for playoff spots are the Buccaneers, the Rams in the 6th spot, and the Seahawks fighting for their playoff lives, guys. They have to beat the Steelers to stay in it at this point, and that is who we play this weekend. That is your playoff spots as we speak. Mike, I know that the time went really fast, but
It did fly by, man.
Well, I got
yeah,
some updates.
Derby, please.
Fill us in,
I got
Derp.
some updates. Mason Rudolph is the starter this week.
There you go. You heard it right here.
Mason
Rudolph.
but it would depend on Kenny Pickett's health at the end of the week.
So if wait, what does that mean?
No, they're evaluating like Mason's getting the starter reps. Kenny will get reps, and they're going to monitor his health. And that's coach's way of saying Mason's the starter, but Kenny's getting reps too.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Anybody else? I mean, usually they do injuries early on.
Landon Roberts was the only one I saw out. Derpy, did you see anyone else?
Yeah, I've seen that one. Mika and Trenton are limited this week, but they'll start.
Yeah, they're questionable to start the week, so it wouldn't surprise me if those 2 play, but Landon Roberts out.
So if you didn't go over to the Tomlin conference and you stayed here with us, that is the case as we speak. Mason Rudolph, the 3rd-string quarterback, has been named the starter for the biggest game of the year. All depending on Kenny Pickett's injury or his health. And finally, the only injury, guys, is the Landon Roberts injury, which is a big one. But if Miles Jack could come in and hold the position up, I think that we might be okay.
Yeah, and it's looking like there'll be like Miles Jack, Blake Martinez with Michael Walker and Roberts.
I tell you what, I see Mark Robinson
he was laying the wood out there. I like
he must be dumb as a dog, because here's the thing: the guy plays good every time I see him. They're
bringing him along slow.
You think?
Yeah.
At some point, I mean, you're having a bad, when you're having a bad season, or when you're 0-3, you should have these guys in there playing. But for whatever reason,
yeah,
either that or I don't know. I don't know what the deal is.
Hey, I just like when he's out there, he thumps people, man. He's a good run stopper.
Mike, why don't you thump the website?
The2dumbyinzers.com. Head on over there. All of our links for our socials are over there. Merch store's over there. New blog post up over there talking about George Pickens and Mason Rudolph's performance against the Cincinnati Bengals. All at the2dumbyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. Good stuff over there. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. We do have a Seattle Seahawks trivia question for the day, fellas. You ready to change the pace a little bit? Go NFC style and see if we can answer some Seattle Seahawks questions this week.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Here we go, Derpy. Seattle Seahawks question of the day, because that is who the Steelers play next. Here we go. What nickname for the Seattle secondary was coined in 2011? What nickname for the Seattle secondary was coined in 2011? Guys, think that over for a moment. We are live, everybody, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, right here, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And the show that we do live every day, we upload it over on Spotify and podcast form at 8 o'clock p.m. Go check it out. I do want to say that our schedule is a little off this week due to the holidays and being in between the holidays. We are here today. We will be here Thursday, and then we won't be back again until Tuesday, which will be January 2nd. So we're in 2 days this week, which is today and Thursday, and then we'll be back to start the new year on January 2nd, which is a week from today. So I do want to put that out there, guys. Here we go. The trivia question of the day. What nickname for the Seahawks secondary was coined in 2011? Derpy, I'm going to start with you. What do you think was the nickname that the Seattle Seahawks secondary was given in 2011?
Legion of Boom?
Legion of Boom. Interesting. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and lock Derpy in place. Get his answer in here. All right. Mike, I'm going to come to you and ask you the same question. What nickname for the Seattle Seahawks was coined in their secondary, in 2011? Derpy says the Legion of Doom. What do you say?
The Legion of Boom.
That's what I said. Legion
That's
of
what
Boom.
he meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And Mike, you also say the Legion of Boom?
I say the Legion of Boom.
Let me lock you in there. All right, guys. Question of the day. What nickname for the Seattle secondary was coined in 2011? Both of the guys said Legion of Boom. The answer is the Legion of Boom. Good job, guys.
Hell yeah.
That was correct.
We know our Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Say what you will about Derpy and I. We know the Seattle Seahawks.
Mike, do you have anything before we start getting ready to wrap it up?
Tomlin, whatever you did last week, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Don't change a damn thing. You bring Le'Veon Bell's ass back there again. If he's passing out the good Keith, you let him pass out the good Keith. You let him do what he needs to do. You let George need to do what he needs to do. Create some controversy. Have the team rally around it. Do whatever you did because it's working.
My thing is this. I mean, I know Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is effective at Christmas, but is Rudolph going to be effective for New Year's?
Hey, I'm keeping my Christmas decorations up until Rudolph loses.
All right, Derpy. Anything for you ready to roll?
Yeah, I got something.
All right.
I'm gonna sing it.
Oh, you're gonna
God.
sing. That's right.
Derpy,
please, serenade us.
Mason Rudolph, the Steelers' shining delight, led the team to victory. Oh, what a sight! Against the Bengals, he danced with glee. 34-11, a win for all to see.
Did you
With
make
the
this?
red-nosed football,
oh,
he
Go
threw
ahead.
with flair. Touchdown Scalaire, filling the cold, crisp air. Rudolph's passes, like gifts above, brought smiles to fans' pure football love. On the gridiron of festive display, Mason Rudolph made the Bengals sway, with each completion a holiday song in the end zone, where joy belongs. 34-11, a score so merry. Mason's magic made the Bengals wary. Rudolph, the QB, with the joyous stride, led the Steelers with holiday pride. And that's it. There you go. Yep.
Derpy.
That was good. Good job, Derpy.
that was good, Derp.
I thought it was like going to turn into like a Doors song that just kept going and going.
Right? It was like Inagata Devita.
Yeah.
Just get 19 minutes. Just keep going.
All right. Did you make that up?
I may have to help with the AI.
Okay. All right. That's
There
fair.
you go, Derpy. Yes. Hey, at least you credited the AI.
Yeah.
My thing is this, guys, or the crazy Hawaiian shirt guy from town who always has something interesting to say. He says this the day before the game. Today, the game day, this is what he says about the Steelers. Today could be Tomlin's last game. Boo him like crazy. He killed the franchise, was said by Mr. Genius from the A-Team, apparently, here in Pittsburgh. See how that went. See how that
Killed
worked
the
out
franchise because he was the only
Kill
coach
the
to not make the playoffs in his entire coaching career.
There's 31 other teams
The
that
thing
would
about this
call
guy, yeah, you
Tomlin a
killed the
heartbeat.
here's the thing. They come back next year and win the Super Bowl. Did this guy kill the franchise?
Right?
That guy's a freak.
Yeah.
One other thing I do want to say, guys, non-related to sports, something that I found interesting. Federal appeals court ruled that Nirvana must face a child pornography lawsuit for the Nevermind album. If you recall, they had the baby back in 1993. They now, 30 years later, have to face a child porn lawsuit. I don't know. Go figure it out, guys.
I don't think they're getting any money from Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, Kurt. Yeah, don't go digging that one up. And finally, guys, you, Mike, the picks from last week. I do want to just tell you who won. Mike, you won 11-9. You nailed the tiebreaker. If it would have came to a tiebreaker, you would have nailed that. 45 was the points that you picked. 45 was the amount that was actually the sum of the score. But Mike, you now back. It's you and Derpy are like teetering here. So we're going to be back at it on Thursday to get the next round, week 17's games. So Mike, you did win 11-9. Anything else? You know what? One other thing, we want to thank everybody for checking us out. We hope that everybody had a great Christmas. We hope that you come back and hang out with us on Thursday. We'll be back on Thursday at our regular time. Guys, anything else? Speak now. Forever hold your peace.
I got nothing. Let's go Steelers, baby.
Derpy.
Let's go Steelers.
All right. All right,
Here we
guys.
go.